I just want to do a shout out here to the really to the exquisite Natalie Lyons and the exceptional Ingrid Parks. Stand up, stand up, stand up, stand up. See, Ingrid is always outside working, so I said, bring her in so we can say thank you. And they just doing, aren't they doing a great job on the conference? I just really appreciate it. So I thought we'd start again with a, thanks Ingrid, back to work. I thought we'd start again with a thought for the day. And the thought for the day is that the children are the travelers as they journey through the child welfare system. The social worker is the travel agent. The destination is permanency. The children need to arrive safely at their destination, so they need travel agents who can use every possible mode of transport to get them there, not just one way. Leadership must provide the infrastructure, the resources, and the roadmaps so that the travel agents can carry out their jobs effectively. I think that the stewards and the stewardesses of the kids, the ones who provide for their comfort, their care, and their safety while they're traveling are the foster parents and adoptive parents who take care of them. And there was a faith-based summit a couple years ago, or in the past 2 years, where a lot of foster and adoptive parents came together and talked about their experiences. And one of them works for Disney as a videographer person. And so he was so impressed with some of the speakers that he took his own vacation time and traveled up and down the coast of the United States on his own time and made a video of some of these foster and adoptive parents and of some of these kids who talked about their experiences in the child welfare system. And that was made into a video, and that video is in your packet. And Adopt Us Kids, this gentleman's name is Rich Newman, and it's professional quality. He donated his time, and he donated it, the video to us. And you can replicate this video. You can use it. You can replicate it and give it out to the regional offices back in your state. And it's Kathy Ledesma, the interim director of Adopt Us Kids, is going to come up and talk about how you can use it. But I'm very, very proud of it, and I think it's great. So in that video, which has all these different segments, there were 4 women that were just so eloquent. I just said, is there some way we could just show some of these excerpts? First, we talked about could we have them come, and all these things that we talked about. So what Rich did was he edited this down into a 7-minute clip that we're going to show you, and we said, well, we have to bring, if we're going to do that, then we have to bring the ladies here. If we're going to have the ladies talk, we have to have the ladies here. So we said, well, that would be nice for them because we can honor them and they can get a break from their kids. So, wouldn't you know, these committed foster and adoptive parents said, we all have to bring our kids. So anyway, we're real excited because we have some special guests, and we're going to show you a special video. And then after this, because I've seen this video at least 57 times, and I cry every single time I see it. So I may be somewhat incoherent when it's over. So Kathy Ledesma, the interim director of Adopt Us Kids, will come up afterwards, so we're going to do a presentation. But we want to show you this.
I'm a foster mom. I've been one for about 14 years. I never thought I would ever be one. I sort of fell into it, and I'm so glad. I didn't have any kids. My husband and I didn't have children, so I worked really hard in the business world. I wasn't happy. I was successful. I wasn't happy. I was a godmother to lots of kids, a Sunday school teacher, but I wanted someone to call me Mom. I didn't want to just teach and hug. I wanted to have children.
I think when I began to think about adoption, my biggest concern was, can I do this permanently? Because, again, I'd seen children move from home to home to home, and I knew that this child had been disrupted more than once and had had a failed adoption. So, prior to making the decision, I knew that it had to be a permanent commitment, and that once we entered into it, it was for good.
I remember thinking I wasn't qualified. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know if I could be a good mom or not.
I stopped and thought, okay, is there any situation that I could not deal with? And spent a lot of time thinking about that. And the more I thought about it, the more I realized that there is support out there for everyone. There's education, there's support, and that was available to me as well. And I knew how to access those resources, so I wasn't afraid to do it. And there are, many, many, many children in the foster care system now, many teenagers who deserve and need a committed family. I think one of the fears that people have about teenagers is that you hear, that they have problems and they have issues. What teenager does not have adjustment issues?
And I remember one little girl said, well, why would you want me? I'm a teenager. Don't you want a little kid? And I'm like, well, kittens grow up and become cats. Puppies grow up and become dogs. You don't get rid of them, you love them.
They lost their birth family. They may have lost several foster adoptive families. So I think they really need a family, and I think it's important for people to understand that them pushing away doesn't mean that they don't want you or need you. They just need time to learn to trust again and learn to love, and they definitely need to belong.
Get great pleasure out of taking my boys in the kitchen 2 weeks before Christmas and cooking all of this mess that they have no business eating. And I let them have at it for 2 weeks. They run me nuts, but I realized that this stuff that regular everyday kids take for granted, the fact that your mama's cooking when you come home from school, that these children have not even experienced. Stuff that I don't want to eat that. You know what I'm saying? Everyday stuff that our children became spoiled and overindulged in, these children have never even experienced. A mama that's frying some chicken in a skillet when you came home. You'd be surprised at how much joy. It is not rocket science. All you got to do, when people talk to me, they say, oh, what kind of degree? What is your background? I tell them, I'm just a mama. I'm a mama. And I do things that mamas do.
These kids have already been hurt. They've already been rejected. They've already had people say no to them or just leave them alone or say, I can't take this child, take them away. So you can't look at it like that. You look at them as this is a child that needs you. This child needs someone to believe in them. And when things aren't going well, that's when they need you the most. And I sometimes would ask myself, when I really make the worst mistakes of my life, when I've really let myself down, do I want someone else to turn their back on me? Or do I want someone to just hug me and hold me? Not even say magic words, just hold me and just say it's going to be all right. And somehow when you feel loved, then you can pick yourself up and try again. And that's what the kids need.
There's so many children that need homes in our country. And there are children in other countries, there's just as many in other countries that need homes. But we have children right here that need us, and we need to take care of the children that are right here.
And we as the American community, we're walking past and we're saying to these kids, this is somebody else's problem. But I am here to tell you today, this is our problem and it's not going away.
If the child is not adopted, there's going to be so much more damage done to that child while they're in the foster care system and moved, and they may get in a good foster home where they stay. They may be moved 3 or 4 times, 6, 7, 8, 9 times. They may spend years and age out of the system.
And you do not have to be perfect, because I am not perfect. My cooking's not good, my jokes aren't good, and I'm not the most beautiful thing, and I'm a half a century old, and I've got teenagers when I could be a grandma. But you know what? My kids love me.
I think you reach a point where you say, this is my life, and what's one more child? What's 3 more children? It's just you can make a difference in their life. They're only children for a short time.
And if I needed to, I could call my mom or my dad and they'd be there for me. If these kids don't have a home, who's going to be there for them?
And I think that's an important thing to keep in mind when you're adopting. It's, what can I do to make a difference? And there are many children out there that will make a difference in our world, and we need to be there for them.
And it's not me. I'm not special. I'm just a person who opened up my heart and my home.
It is the most worthwhile trouble that I've ever put myself through. I know that they have behaviors that you are going to think, I cannot deal with this. But they are just kids. That's it. And if you can remember that that's a child, then you can do this job. You can do this work. You'll be surprised what gifts lie in you.
So I think that we're doing something right in this country if we have people like this taking care of our kids. Don't you think? Let's give them a hand. Ladies, would you please come up here, ladies? We want to recognize you for outstanding representation of foster and adoptive parents. We have a plaque for you, Kathy. Unfortunately, Tracy Duncan couldn't be here today because one of her kids needed her, so she couldn't come, so we'll mail her the plaque. And now here's Kathy Ledesma from Adopt Us Kids.
I think I want to start by saying we need to recognize by name these wonderful women. Ollie Schaefer has had 28 foster children over 9 years and has adopted one child. Terry Kaiser Williams from Virginia has had 14 children. This may have changed. 14 children over 15 years. And adopted? And has adopted one child. Right? And Melissa Penton, get this, from Florida, has had over 200 children placed with her over 18 years and has adopted 9. Every state, every jurisdiction has wonderful men and women just like these women, and our job really is to bring them in, to excite them the way that these women are so excited about what they do and are so passionate about what they do. We need to bring them in. We need to give them the tools, the equipment that they need to care for our children, and then we need to get those children to them and support them. We would strongly encourage you to use the video that's in your packet, which is the full-length version. It's much longer than this. Adopt Us Kids has just ordered 500 copies of what you just saw, the shortened version of Just the Moms. And in addition to that, John McKenzie has done another shortened version that is the children speaking. All three of these are both our wonderful recruitment tools, and they're great training tools that we would encourage you to use. Visit our table out in the hallway or just email us at info@adoptuskids.org, and we would be glad to get you out multiple copies of these for your use. We have been in existence. Adopt Us Kids has been in existence. We're in our second cooperative agreement with the Children's Bureau, and our charge really is to provide training, technical assistance, and tools to the states, to all of you out there, for the recruitment and retention of foster and adoptive parents. As most of you know, we have several components, and this is a collaboration with several agencies involved. Adoption Exchange Association is the lead on that. The real sexy parts of what we do are the ad campaign that's out there by the Ad Council. We're going to see the new campaign this noon. And then we have the website, which has become a face of Adopt Us Kids. We do parent support. We provide research and evaluation on the things that we do. And but the heart of what we do is the training and technical assistance to the states. Somehow we've not raised that to a top banner position, so that not all of you have been able to see us out there and to take advantage of these services. So in a decision with the Children's Bureau this past summer, we now are redoing our training and technical assistance and putting it out there as one of the national resource centers. John McKenzie's put together a wonderful little clip here to announce this. Our flyers out in the hallway. And John, would you just stand up for a minute so we can recognize you?
Thank you, Kathy. And just to let you know, on that video, it is divided into 10 and 15-minute segments. And it has sections where it has the parents talking, it has the kids talking, it has families talking, it has a section on fears and myths. And so you can use different sections of the video in classes. You can use it as a training tool for staff, a training tool for foster and adoptive parents, as well as a retention tool for support groups or whatever. So it's got a lot of uses to it. I just want to tell the families, we know that you want to go sightseeing and you're going to come back and have lunch with us, so you don't have to stay here if you don't want to. You're welcome to stay, but if you guys want to take off, you can take off. Don't worry about it. And thank you for being with us this morning. And I just wanted to run over the agenda for today. We're going to have a general session this morning, then have a break, have another general session on MIPA before lunch. Then we'll have the awards luncheon, which is a hosted luncheon from Adopt Us Kids. And during that, we'll have the Ellen Carey Awards, the Adoption Excellence Awards, and see the new PSAs. Then we'll have workout. We'll probably need a workout after lunch. We'll have workshops, and then we'll have a break at 3, and then we'll come back together for the final session of the afternoon.